Hey guys, welcome back. It's been quite a while. If you guys didn't already know, we were at Comics of this year in 2022. Make sure to check out in the description box below what we did and how things went, as we do have a piece of information to share at the end of the video, so make sure to stay tuned to check it out. But apart from that, today we'll be taking a look at something interesting from Team Red. That's right, it's Team Red's Zen 4 Raphael CPU. You may be wondering, where is the CPU? That's a good question that we will be answering later on. So the new AMD CPUs, codenamed Zen 4 or Raphael, come with TSMC's latest 5nm processing node, which basically allows them to get at up to 13% in performance increase in IPC. So what does this actually mean? So for the first wave of AMD CPUs, AMD is launching 4 different units. First, we have the Ryzen 5 7600X, the Ryzen 7 7700X, the Ryzen 9 7900X, and the latest and greatest Ryzen 9 7950X. All 4 of them having 6, 8, 12, and 16 cores respectively. But that's not all, considering all of them have a boost clock of above 5 GHz, which is a first for Ryzen. So some of you may have been wondering, since I posed the question earlier, where is the CPU? Well, now we'll be answering that question. This CPU is right here. Wow, why so big? So this system, which is part of our terrestrial line, actually houses the new AMD 7000 Ryzen 9 7950X in the latest X670 motherboard from ASUS. This particular motherboard is the Crosshair. So it's also equipped with DDR5 RAM, and you can see it's housed in the Corsair 5000T. So if you want to know more or find systems just like this, make sure to check out our website, because starting from today, we will be housing new systems and new bundles with the new AMD 7000 series CPUs. But if you're not too sure on what you're looking for, don't worry, we are always here to help, so make sure to reach out or check out our showroom, which is right here or in the description box down below. So without further ado, let's take a closer look into some of the specs of this system, like the motherboard. So for our motherboard of choice for this system, we went with the ASUS ROG Crosshair X670 Hero motherboard, which is one of ASUS's latest AM5 motherboards specifically for the Zen 4 Raphael CPUs. So for those of you guys who are looking to upgrade to the new 7000 series CPUs, one thing that you must note is that they are not cross-compatible. So if you are looking to get a new CPU, especially from Team Red, you will be getting a new motherboard as well, something like this one. But apart from that, let's take a bit of a closer look at RAM. So when we come and take a closer look at RAM, one thing you guys need to understand is that for AM5 or Zen 4 CPUs, they only utilize DDR5. Which means that if you guys are looking to do an upgrade, you're not just going to get a new motherboard, you will be investing in a new pair of RAM as well, which may mean that it is going to be quite a costly upgrade for you. So now that you know all about the Zen 4 Raphael AMD CPUs, does that mean you want to go out and grab it right now? Why don't you take a quick look at some of the benchmarks we threw at it before going. So for benchmarks, we actually are going to run 5 different tests to test 5 different things. For gaming, we'll be running our favorite Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Red Dead Redemption 2, mostly to test the CPU performance. As for synthetic workloads, we'll be running Cinebench, R23, both single core and multi-core performance, Blender, Classroom Render, and last but not least, V-Ray. So without further ado, let's get right into the benchmarks. So for our first test, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, the main reason why we are actually using the Shadow of the Tomb Raider is mostly to test CPU performance. So for our testing methodology, we are actually running the game on 1080p at max settings. So the main problem of this game compared to others is that this game can actually use the CPU to render frame rate. So we'll actually be looking at the CPU render scores and the CPU game frames from this benchmark. And forcing the game to load at 1080p basically allows the CPU to be under full load. Because funnily enough, if you run at higher resolution, you actually won't be stressing your CPU, but more your GPU. So for our second game of choice, we ran Red Dead Redemption 2. Very similar to Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Red Dead Redemption 2 is an open world game which basically In these kinds of games, we actually have to render the entire surrounding, which basically allows us to test CPU performance. As usual, we are running 1080p max settings to ensure that we are CPU bound and our results will reflect our CPU performance. The metrics that we'll be looking here will be the minimum FPS, average FPS, and highest FPS. So without further ado, let's take a look at our results. In our synthetic benchmarks, we ran Cinebench, V-Ray, and Blender. All three programs we focus on CPU rendering, both single core and multi-core performance. So why don't we take a look at our results? First, we have Cinebench in single core performance. Now moving on to Cinebench multi-core performance. Next, we have Blender with the classroom render. And last but not least, V-Ray. So from all these benchmarks, we can definitely see that an AMD Zen 4 Raphael CPU definitely delivers smashing performance. But speaking of smashing, make sure to smash our like and subscribe button if you haven't done so already to keep up to date with our latest content, especially content such as this. Speaking of content, we will be revealing what kind of system our winner for our God of Gamer challenge that we did in our comics exhibition fairly shortly. So make sure to stick around for that. So what can we actually draw from our results today? Well, it's quite simple. We understand that the AMD Zen 4 Raphael CPUs deliver top-of-the-line performance, even when it comes to things like their Ryzen 5 processor, all the way to their Ryzen 9. But does that mean you really need to rush out and get one right now? Yes and no. As much as they offer top-of-the-line performance, so there is one caveat, which is price. So as we know, the AMD Zen 4 Raphael CPUs, they don't use AM4. They use the new socket type AM5. So this brings, of course, pros and cons. So pros being that they have newer features like PCIe Gen 5. But of course, cons is that it means there is no backward compatibility. So if you're looking to get a new system, right, then you shouldn't be in too much of a problem. But if you're looking to do an upgrade, that would mean that you will need to get a new motherboard and new RAM as well, due to the motherboard only accepting DDR5. So this brings the question then, is that should you wait or should you go for Zen 4? Well, my answer to you is fairly simple. If you're looking to get the newest high-end system, then go for it. So as of right now, only the enthusiast level motherboards like the X670 motherboards are in the market. So if you're looking to go for a more entry-level or mid-range system using the AMD Ryzen 7 7600X, you'll be out of luck because for your motherboard, you will have to go for the X670. But if you wait a bit longer, around next month, the B series motherboards will be coming out. So my advice to you is that if you're looking for a mid-range system, just wait a bit because there are things coming around the horizon. But if you're looking to go for the best right now, I would say go for it. There doesn't seem to be any downsides. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Before we go, just want to give a huge shout out to both ASUS and AMD for providing us the processor and motherboard before launch so that we could do this video and the testing just for you guys. Let us know in the comment section down below what you guys thought about this video, and are you excited for Zen 4 or are you waiting for something else on the horizon? And last but not least, if you want to check out more information about the latest deals, bundles, or the Zen 4 CPU, make sure to check out our website, INVADER PC, down in the description box down below. And that's all folks, I'll see you guys in the next one.